Not yet. Now we are officially live. What's up, everyone? Welcome to season 2 of Building in Public. We are here with me, Adiv, with Petri and Mark from Streamr Network and Streamr app team. How's it going? How was your guys' New Year's? How was your last couple of weeks coming into 2026?
Are you muted?
Mark, we can't hear you. Yeah. Yeah. No, I was like, I was wondering why.
Yeah, Mark, do you have some problems?
We heard him perfectly before, and then when we went live, I guess his mic went out. No problem.
Yeah, but maybe I should tell a little bit my own holiday. So I spent most of the holidays just sleeping and trying to recover from all the hard work that I did in December. That was too rough. But now, after recovering for a couple of weeks, we are back in business and doing some pretty interesting development.
Yeah, I mean it's the best time to hibernate is the winter time, right? It calls for that. Our energy is like let's just reflect and relax during this time of the year, you know. But I completely get that. I was kind of doing the same.
Yeah.
Mark, let's test your mic.
Testing 1 2 3.
Yeah, now we have it.
Yeah, it's all set now.
I was hoping StreamYard had a bug in it. That would be great, but no, it's user error. My phone connected to my laptop and switched the mic.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah, I'm back. Yeah, happy New Year, guys. Looking forward to season 2, Building Public Call. Lots happening behind the scenes with lots to ship this year. This year is the year of growth, so we'll talk a bit more in a moment about how we're going to do that. So yeah, excited for 2026, energized and ready to go.
Yeah, for sure.
What should we talk about? Should we talk about should we talk about products first? Let's talk about Streamr Alpha, I guess. And Petri, you've been slogging away for the last months, as we all have. But yeah, it'd be good to hear where we're at with the product, because obviously I've seen where we are, but it'd be good if you could explain a little bit to the community and anyone listening where we're at. That'd be awesome.
So we currently we are at the stage that where we have a working video conferencing solution running on Streamr. It has still some rough edges there, and not all the features have been implemented, but it is working, and it's looking very promising considering the audio and video quality. So the audio and video quality are actually much better than what you are currently seeing through the StreamYard or on Google Meet or such. So we have this basic system running that doesn't have any authentication or user roles. You just go with a simple URL there. So there are no roles like host or speaker or such yet, but those are the ones that we are going to add next. So after we have added those roles there, it's going to be a rather awesome package.
Yeah. Actually, I think your daughter always has her violin lesson at the same time as this call.
Yeah, cello.
She's very good. Cello, is it? Okay. I couldn't quite hear what instrument it was, but yeah. So we've had a few team calls on Streamr app now. Petri and myself were having a team call on it earlier today to test it, but also to talk about other things. So that's really, really encouraging. As Petri said, all the features that are coming that we're bringing at the same time with the launch of the beta, we're still working on those. So it's rough around the edges, but I mean the heavy lifting of going from one to many to many to many, is kind of been done. So that's great. Still tons of work to do before we're ready to launch the beta, but we're going in the right direction. I think the team are reassured and confident and excited that we can build, a strong core of our product, which is awesome. Petri, can you talk about, in layman's terms, kind of multi-threading and the challenge around the fact that when you run a peer-to-peer based video conference in a browser tab, when you click off the tab, it kind of cuts out the video and the audio a little bit. So the solution is multi-threading. Is that right?
Yeah. So this is one of the rough edges that we are currently working on. So we just wanted to get this system working, and we didn't do any performance optimizations there. So in web browsers, you have this thing called web workers, which are basically the same thing as threads in traditional operating systems. So we still have quite a lot of this optimization work to be done, moving as much processing as possible to the workers, to web workers, so that while you are browsing the internet or resizing the window, it doesn't affect the video or audio. We have done this exercise before regarding this. I mean, in this normal Streamr TV broadcasting case. So it just means some boring optimization work to be done. So one of these rough edges is that, okay, now you resize the windows, there will be cuts in the video, but we shall, among other things, optimize this problem away.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of, I don't know how many areas for optimization, but obviously we're kind of what we're calling an alpha stage. So we're going to release this alpha product next week to the closed community. And then, we're going to ask for feedback, which is what we've done with previous launches. We did that with MVP2 and MVP1. So yeah, it really adds value, guys, if you can use the product and give us that feedback. It just helps Petri and the team iron those out as quickly as possible and as efficiently as possible. So we're thinking we're going to launch the alpha next week, but maybe the week after. But let's see. We're close to sharing a sort of very first version of that. So that's exciting. And Petri, you said at the beginning of this call that you felt like the quality is already better than Google Meet, StreamYard, Zoom. Why is that? Can you explain that in layman's terms?
That is because we are using web codecs instead of using the WebRTC directly. So our system works so that we actually grab the audio and video frames from the cameras and microphones, and then we encode them using the web codecs. Web codecs are a pretty recent addition to the browsers, so I think others are not using those yet for this kind of thing, such as video conferencing. So we do this encoding ourselves, and we send these encoded frames then over the WebRTC data channels and also over WebSockets whenever this operator nodes happen to be there in a stream. So in that case, the data will be sent over WebSockets. So this technology behind the Streamr app is very different from the other video conferencing web apps out there, because they are using this traditional WebRTC stack as is, but we are doing stuff at a much lower level, and that's why the video quality also is better.
Yeah, so not only is the quality better, but because we're leveraging Streamr technology, the core network, it hyperscales, meaning that we can scale it to larger audience sizes much more effectively. So you kind of got this quantity and quality kind of dynamic. Already we're seeing that in the alpha, so it's pretty exciting, I think. And Petri, I know we're jumping about a bit here, but just to recap, because we're kind of new into the year and we haven't had one of these calls for a while, in terms of account setup, I know the answer to this. I'm sort of just leading you because I think it's important that we talk about this to the community. But we've got these free users who are kind of audience members, and then we've got the pro users who are coming in to host video conferences, to stream to unlimited audience sizes. And what's the account setup process for them? Like, what are the kind of core technologies that we're using? Because this is quite exciting, right?
Yes. So we are going to use this very, very modern on-chain wallet based authentication. There are several providers who provide this as a service. We are not going to implement it ourselves, but we are going to pick one of those providers. And the authentication basically works so that you sign up by creating a WebAuthn based secret key on your device that is secured by your device using your biometrics, such as fingerprint or the Face ID. And this is provided by the operating system and the browser. So we have no say in this. But in the end, what you get is that you will have a secret key saved securely on your device, and you are able to use that secret key by giving your biometrics, such as showing your face to your phone. And then this, if you're familiar with this these multi-sig wallets, they have been around for a long time. So in multi-sig wallets in crypto space, you have this concept of signers. So in a multi-sig wallet, you define that, okay, these Ethereum addresses need to sign this transaction in order to this transaction to be valid. So we this technology uses a similar setup. So you use the secret key that has been securely stored on your device to sign a transaction, and then I mean this thing is this works so that in the cloud, in the service provider side, there is something similar to this kind of traditional multi-sig wallet that has your secret key stored on your device configured as a signer. So it can be configured, for example, so that only one signer is enough. So then it means that by showing your Face ID to your computer, you use the secret key on your computer to sign something, and then the signature is used in this on-chain wallet to do the actual signature. So all this, even though it sounds a little complicated, it means that it's very, very easy to use for the user. So signing up basically means that you only thing that you need to do is to give your biometrics to your computer. So you are not sending your biometrics anywhere over the internet. You're not sending it to us nor to any third parties. But by giving your biometric, you are creating this secret key that is securely stored on your computer. So signing up and logging in is going to be the same thing. You just show your biometric, and that's it. You don't need to type any email addresses or invent any passwords or anything of that nature.
You see, I love it because we're building serverless, decentralized video conferencing, and actually a video super app using Web3 technology and Rails. So, the very important point Petri has just landed at the end there is that your bio data, your face, your fingerprint doesn't leave your device. There's a private key and a public key on the back end. The public key sits in the cloud. And when the public key marries up with the private key, then it creates an account for you. So those of us that have been in Web3 for a while can understand how that works, even if you don't have a technical background. And this is really important for Streamr app because we want the UX. We've always been very focused on keeping the UX and clean, frictionless as much as possible, because that's been an inherent problem with Web3. We sort of stripped out some of the UX problems with Web3, so we're maintaining that. But at the same time, it speaks to privacy advocates because you don't have to hand over an email address. I need to make one point really, really clear here. And I'm going to have to say and repeat this again and again and again because we're probably going to get challenged on this, but I still think it's the right approach. What Petri is describing is when you set up an account with Streamr app. We are monetizing to start with through a fiat payment rail with Stripe. And what that means is that when you engage with certain features in the product, like super balloons or our referral marketing system called Meet to Earn, then you're going to have to subscribe to Stripe, which is usually linked back to an email address. That's with a third-party system. And the reason we're starting with that is because we know that non-Web3 audiences in the real world, i.e. normies, they're much more incentivized by fiat. We know there's crypto tokens can be a real turnoff for that group of people. And they're our bullseye target market as we go to market. So we are going to do exactly the same thing, but with crypto tokens, with the data token at a later stage. But we have to make hard choices right now about how we do these things. And right now we're focused on growth. And go-to-market strategy is key. So that's why you'll see this kind of, Web3, it's called WebAuth and login process that Petri has described for the Streamr app. But in addition, there's certain features in the product which are monetized through Stripe, and that's why we're doing that. Because it is a little bit of a contradiction, but we're on a journey here in order to find traction. And what we really need now is growth and fast. So that's why we've kind of gone with that decision. I get that a lot of people aren't going to get that decision, especially in the Web3 space, but we still think it's it's the right strategic call on that. So, okay, very interesting. Yeah, Petri, you're sharing in the chat openfort.io.
Yes, because I thought that my explanation of this signing up, logging in technology might not be clear enough. So this is one example of this kind of on-chain wallet provider that provides this kind of functionality that I just described. There are many providers like this. We have not chosen this OpenFort yet, but OpenFort is a very strong candidate for us that we are looking into. So you can go there, go to this openfort.io and try out their demos. So you shall see how easy it is really to create a wallet and sign up and log in.
And everything's going to be like crypto based, correct? So
yes,
tips and let's say they wanted Bitcoin, they get paid in Bitcoin. If they wanted to tip in Bitcoin, they wanted to tip in.
Also, what
data.
Mark mentioned here, this use of fiat. So everything is going to be bound to these wallets that you create using this kind of OpenFort-like system. So even if we are giving out rewards in fiat, they will be bound to a certain wallet address, because that is your user ID.
Yeah.
So everybody will have a wallet, and everything will happen around this wallet, no matter what currency we are using.
But the mindset is, as we go to market, there's going to be these features like super balloons and meet to earn, which are, in fiat rewards with the Stripe payment rail. But we're building the underlying architecture to be Web3 native so that we can introduce crypto tokens later. That's the kind of go-to-market approach, right? Because we know our Web3 user base, especially privacy advocates, they're going to want to go all crypto at some point, because then they can use the entire product, get all of the access to all of the features, this, just with using crypto tokens, and have to enter no email address at any point. But we're that's like a longer term vision, which we're going to get to. But that's why we're building.
That product will even be available to video conferencing for businesses as well, right?
Yeah. But here's the thing. Here's what we know. Like, we've got two target markets. One is the hardcore privacy advocate, and actually, I suspect that's going to be a smaller group of people than the second target market, which is the tech entrepreneur, people like myself, Petri, yourself, Adiv, who live their lives on video conferences.
Yeah.
And if we think about the current products, Zoom started very much as kind of retail level individual, and then over time they've evolved their business, and now it's very enterprise focused, and they make more revenues there than individual level. And we're starting going after the individual tech entrepreneur and the privacy advocate. And, we need to make our product super clean and serve these people, this group of people, which is exactly what we're doing. And you look at Zoom over the last years, their product has become increasingly clunky and difficult to use. It's the antithesis of what we're building, which is like put your finger on your button and then you can create an account. I mean, Zoom is just a painful experience nowadays. Like, I was interviewing a video conference user, also an entrepreneur, last week. I was telling Petri about it, and she uses Google Meet and Zoom. She uses Google Meet free, which kind of likes, because it's a free product and it works. But actually, she runs a lot of online workshops. She's a coach, and with these workshops, she has to use the Zoom product, because she can simultaneously stream Spotify music, and there's other features on there that she can do that Google Meet can't. In fact, she actually said to me, Zoom makes me look younger, and Google Meet makes me look 5 years older. By the way, this is a plugin that we're going to ask someone in the community to build. Anyway, I don't want to go off on a tangent. But yeah, spontaneously, she said to me, I can't stand using Zoom. It is an absolute pain. And I already knew that, because I used to be a Zoom user. I still use it occasionally. I can't. It's awful. So, we're very focused on this kind of UX problem. And I'm super happy with this solution, because, that's, as I said earlier, it's been key that we solve the Web3 UX problem. We've done that. And we can do that. We don't have to do that ourselves now. We can, the technology's there with other suppliers like OpenFort, which is great. That's where Web3's at now, so it's good.
Yeah, and with that, it's going to be fully browser based, right? So in the beginning, and even like when it's fully at the peak product after beta and all, that's going to be all browser based, or am I wrong in saying that?
And there's been a lot of discussion in the community Discord about this, and a couple of guys were coming in and saying, look, you need to bring a native market to app as quickly as possible. My first reaction was, look, early stage startups don't do native apps, because it's more dev resource and it's more management, and it slows us down. We want to ship an update, then it has to go through all the app stores. But I think they were right, and I was probably wrong in terms of my first reaction. So we've discussed that a lot, and I've said to the guys in the community, it's in the roadmap. We're bringing it up in the roadmap. We've got to get the beta out the door. We've got to get the beta working. We've got to get growth of first users, and we've got to iron out all the bugs. There's a lot to do in the next kind of 3 months or so. And then we're going to bring in the native apps as quickly as we can. Honestly, we've talked about it internally, but we haven't gone into the detail of what that looks like. But it's there. It's on the agenda. So we're going to update when we can. But right now we've got 101 other things that we're trying to get done as we get Streamr to market. So yeah, native apps it's up the list in terms of prioritization for sure. Because I think the point in the community was, first of all, a lot of people are sitting on mobiles doing video conferences nowadays, especially younger. Like I don't. I spend my life on a laptop, but that's not the norm for. Like I'm a boomer, right? So for the younger entrepreneurs and privacy advocates out there, probably they need a mobile solution. But another point that was made in the community is it just naturally adds credibility to your product, which I think there's a lot of truth in that actually. And it's easier to do native apps nowadays than it was, say, 5 years ago. So, yeah, we're going to come back to the community with a bit more detail in terms of what that looks like when we're doing that. But yeah, we're not doing it right now for obvious reasons.
Okay, makes sense.
Cool. Right, Petri, anything else to talk about on the product side, or should I talk about growth and marketing for a while?
Yeah, I think you can go to the product and marketing. So maybe one mention or about this alpha that we are going to release. So that version would be this one that doesn't have the user roles. So it would be just about testing this video conferencing without any authentication, without anything, where you just go to one URL and bam, you have a video conference there.
Yeah.
So very simple.
Yeah. So, let me talk about marketing and growth then a little bit. Yeah. So, what are the key areas of focus? At the top of the funnel, we have acquisition channels. We have a relatively small marketing budget every month, but we're spending it on a number of things. One is Google Ads and search. One is PR. And the other is essentially a referral marketing campaign, which is built into the product. Now, this is arguably the most important part of D2C marketing and bringing down cost of acquisition and getting explosive growth. So there are numerous examples of this across B2C platforms and startups. And I've done this in a previous life several times. So we know the playbook internally, and we're building this right bang center in the product. So let me explain what it's called and how it works. So it's called Meet to Earn. So some people might be familiar with that kind of terminology because it's kind of a thing in Web3 world, although we're doing it through fiat payment rails. But essentially, we are building one affiliate or referral system. We're making them one and the same thing so that influencers and UGC content, they can use their link, and referrers who are actually users of the product on a day-to-day basis are using the same mechanic. And we're just doing that because it's like the KISS principle, keep it simple, stupid. And the way it works is that you host a video conference as a pro user, you bring in your audience and your network, and as you're in that call, they're going to see a call to action to join Meet to Earn. And it'll force a conversation at the beginning of the video conference as like an icebreaker along the lines of, what's this Streamr app? What's this Meet to Earn thing about? And you're going to see a tag in the top right-hand corner that says Meet to Earn. And so audience users come in and they click on it, and then they come into the Meet to Earn funnel. That's how it works in basic terms, in terms of virality. Similarly, in influencer marketing, there's going to be a link, and the Meet to Earn campaign, it takes you into the flow that way, straight from kind of influencer campaigns. And as the name suggests, as you're hosting live streams, it tracks who is signing up on the audience side as new users. And when those new users become pro users, the original referrer or affiliate gets 50% of the revenue for 12 months. So 50% is quite a large percentage versus other affiliate referral models. And the reason we're doing that is because growth is kind of key to us, and we need to get out of the gates quickly with this. Now it kind of works because Yeah, we lost Adiv. I know there's someone talking in his room in the background. I can hear. So he dropped out. Anyway, that works in a sort of very viral mechanic. And the reason we're giving 50% affiliate is because we really need to incentivize those new users coming in. And you can imagine that within the crowd, we're going to have certain users that are very good at bringing in new users. They're very good at playing the referrals game and the affiliate game. So I know this from my previous life. Within the crowd, virality doesn't work from Adiv advocating to Mark, advocating to Petri in a sort of sequential order. Virality works within a crowd because you have 20% of those people in the crowd who are just bringing in lots and lots of people. They're like micro-influencers, so to speak. So you really want to incentivize those people to earn as much money as possible. So actually, some people will be in there using the product just to earn money. And, other people will be sort of more natural users. So this Meet to Earn campaign we're building into the product. And it's really speaking to that second persona, which is the tech entrepreneur, because they're hustlers. They're going to want to earn. They're on video conferences all day, every day. Like, why wouldn't you? Why would you use Google Meet, which you're actually paying to use, or Zoom, which you're paying to use? Our product has more features, it's better quality, it hyperscales, and you're earning as you're using it. So that's the kind of approach. Now, the first persona that I talked about in terms of the privacy advocate is going to come in and say, hey, I don't really want to participate in this because, obviously you're serving a cookie in order to do all the tracking in the back end and build this referral affiliate system. So the privacy advocate is going to come in and say, I don't want to be a part of this. So they can opt out. So they're going to click a button which will put them onto anon mode. And at the top of the product, it's going to say anon, clearly stating that they've opted out of Meet to Earn. So we're kind of covering that base as well. So yeah, that's a bit about what we've been working on. I can't really share a great deal on that right now, other than verbalize it. But I think next week we've got some designs in Figma that are going to be finalized. So I might share it in this call next week, or I can do a little video, video update. What else? Go on,
what it kind of reminds me of the Meet to Earn, it gives me like nostalgic vibes of like Omegle and these other like apps where you like swipe and meet people. Yeah. But this you can earn money doing this. It's not just to do for entertainment purposes. It's for entertainment plus you can earn. So I think it has a really cool dynamic where it can actually go outside of this like this crypto Web3 sphere and go into possibly mainstream, just on this earning aspect where everyone's and their moms are talking about, oh, you just have to meet me and we can earn some money, and plus you just sign up for $4, right? Whatever it is, the membership fee, and I think that's great.
Yeah, I mean, this is a well-trodden path. Like D2C marketers use this technique all the time. We know how to do it, as I've said. So the secret sauce in terms of getting these referral systems to work is to build it right bang center into the product. Right, so it becomes a topic, it becomes a conversation starter, and yeah, Petri's been very good at kind of doing that. So yeah, we're super excited by this, and just to reiterate like the importance of this, there's lots of acquisition channels at the top of funnel. Some are paid for, some are organic. We're tapping into lots of those acquisition channels. But the referral is kind of in the product, and it dramatically reduces the average cost of acquisition. So yeah,
I'm interested to see what the audience thinks, and if they have any questions or even more compounding ideas on top of Meet to Earn.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of our viewers will be from the Web3 space, so a good example is Steppen, which was kind of run to earn, right? And just had millions of users globally very, very quickly. Of course, what they didn't have was a business model on the other side. Well, not a robust business model anyway. So yeah, it's that kind of a thing. But we're doing it in a more sort of traditional Web 2 manner rather than kind of Web 3 kind of way. And the reason we're doing that is we want a more sustainable business model. Like Steppen came and went very, very quickly. But yeah, I mean, there's endless examples in D2C of these referral marketing mechanics across fintech, across consumer goods, etc. So yeah.
You know what I just forgot, Mark? We forgot to stream on TikTok.
Yeah, I know. I didn't have time to set it up, and
yeah, I get it. I just thought about it. I just thought about it now.
I know, it's such a cop out. We need to stay on TikTok. We've got to keep it going. But it's funny because like every time I'm on TikTok, the audience are just very different. But anyway,
it's different. It's different. But I think they would love this. They would love the meet to earn campaigns. I think personally.
Yeah.
I'll
tell you a quick story about TikTok. There's I used to work in consumer goods before my sort of Web3 fintech days. And there's a guy I know set up a household cleaning business called, I think it's called Fig and Purdy. It's in the UK. And basically what it is 80% water and your traditional cleaning product, but it's in very premium packaging. It's kind of gentrification of cleaning products, believe it or not, like super premium, super trendy. The ads have got, quite sort of sexy, hot models on it and all this sort of stuff, male and female. And then COVID came along and his business just exploded. I think the big surprise to Fig and Purdy was they built the whole brand and business on TikTok, and they didn't realize that. And now they advertise everywhere in the UK. Now they advertise on mainstream TV, massive business, did really, really well. But that's the power of TikTok, and it was a total surprise to the founders.
Wow, it's crazy. Yeah, I think it's a very powerful platform for sure.
Yeah. Let's get back on there, man.
For sure.
One day we're going to build this RTMP bridge from Streamr app into TikTok, so that you can multi-stream, right? So
we can stream across everything. So that's exciting.
Yeah, it's this StreamYard. Like we're hosting this call on StreamYard right now. The viewers can't necessarily see it, but you'll be watching this on YouTube or Binance Live or LinkedIn or you're listening on X. Right?
No, it's just on X, YouTube, and Binance right now. We don't have it on LinkedIn.
Today is, but you can do LinkedIn.
Sometimes we do it on LinkedIn. Yeah.
And you can do it with TikTok if you have, custom RTMP bridge. But here's the thing, right? This is Petri's thinking is that because of our core technology, we can do this restreaming feature and bake it into Streamr app. So this is the whole thing about Streamr app is that we're secure, we're more private, we're better quality, we hyperscale to large audience sizes, we're much, much, much cheaper, and we do what Google Meet does, we do what StreamYard does, and we're going to do what Loom does, right? So you can take your selfie video and you can use that in a BD context or async updates to your team. That is such an easy feature for us to do. So,
and all of those, like the feature for StreamYard to enable to do like 5 streams at a time on 5 streams on 5 different channels. It's a premium service, right? So these premium services are going to, like we can even price that in, but make it give a higher value behind the product that we're selling, and give it a better price, right? So there's a huge market. It's absolutely a huge market, super competitive, and that gives us a very big opportunity.
Give me 1 second. I've got an 8-year-old who's invaded.
No worries. He wants to be part of the stream.
He definitely doesn't, because he's a bit shy, but maybe next time.
Yeah, okay.
I'm actually sitting in his bedroom, which is why he's coming.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I know. Okay, so like this is why I'm so excited, because when we get the beta to market and people start to understand like what it can do and how it does it, it's exciting. So
I'm excited too for it. Yeah, because it's a better tool overall, and I'm excited to start using it even in our own meetings between us, and then eventually just having like my Calendly, using my Calendly and having that integrated with my Calendly, right? Where I'm just like, all right, not having Google Meets, I'll just use my Streamr TV instead, or Streamr app, right? Streamr Meets, I guess, right? I guess in that product suite, it'll be probably called Streamr Meets. At that point, though, a really important thing is like having a lot of social proof, because a lot of people nowadays get a lot of like breaches or hacks or scams from like meetings. So that's one thing I know will be definitely like some type of hurdle we have to overcome is getting that social proof, getting more awareness, getting more people understanding who we are, and being comfortable with sharing links of ours, and as well like integrating it into their own calendars, right? And even being part of meetings. So, and clicking and accepting meetings, right, on Streamr app. So that's another hurdle for sure. But if we go to market strong with this meet to earn, and that gets the name out, that's a good beginning.
Yeah. And like you said, like, the focus is all kind of how do we make this as simple as possible for people to use it, so there's no extra friction barrier. Like up until this point in time, I've been using Google Meet ever since I've been at Streamr, because that's what Streamr uses. It's so easy for me to set up a calendar appointment and add a Google Meet link. It's
so easy.
It's one click, and I do it several times a day because I'm constantly in meetings, as are most tech entrepreneurs or any entrepreneur. So we got to do the same thing. Like if you go and use Jitsi, which is the open source sort of peer-to-peer video conferencing app, very similar to what we're doing. It's a bit clunky in terms of adding URLs to meetings and all the rest of it, which is a real friction point. And they haven't really solved for that because they're open source, and probably that it's not prioritization. It's not a priority for them. So yeah, these are the things we're thinking about. Okay, awesome. So we've been talking for 44 minutes. There's one or two questions. Should we start to tackle them, do you think?
Yeah, we have a decent amount of questions actually. Let's go into them.
Speed 7 TS says Streamr is back ? Yes, Streamr is back in a big way. So what was I going to say? A Bonjovo question: how will the revenues from Streamr Pro users support data tokenomics? So this is kind of key. We've been talking about this in lots of these calls. Part of those revenues are going to go back to fund the tokenomics, so that as we deploy operator nodes to support video conference calls, real money is going to go from the fiat revenue that's generated by Streamr app, and part of that money is going to go back to pay for the operator nodes supporting the underlying tokenomics. So that's the first thing. So this is really key because it drives a direct link between the sort of demand on the product side through to the supply, which is the operator node side and the underlying tokenomics. And the DPINs and Web3 projects that are successful today understand their model very, very clearly and do that very efficiently. So we're going to do that. Let me sit on the fence a little bit, because probably everyone's like, okay, well, how much money are you going to translate back to the supply side? And the answer is we don't know yet. We're working on these things. We're going to be working this through the course of 2026. Right now, we're hell-bent and focused on growth. We've got to get users in, paying users. We've got to build a business. We've got to start driving revenues. All the detail of how much money is going to support operator nodes will all come into place. The other thing that we really, really want to get to, and probably this won't happen in 2026, maybe it will, but let's see. But we want to get to token burns, right? We want this business as it grows to generate so much revenue that we're buying data tokens back and burning the data token, because we want to move away from inflationary kind of tokenomics back to deflationary. And so you're seeing this trend in Web3 a lot about token burns and really driving the sort of deflationary nature of tokenomics. So the other thing to mention is that in SIP24, which was the last funding proposal, the community were very clear, and they said, look, we want to move away from emissions in the tokenomics. And so we said that we're going to pull together a plan across 2026, which means that we stop doing emissions and we get to revenue generation to pay for Streamr app. So all of these points have been landed loud and clear by the community. We're listening, we're working on it, and we're going to keep communicating through the course of 2026 as to how we're doing that and building public, which is what we're all about. So
I think the most important thing when it comes to like tokenomics and supporting data is creating revenue and getting cash flow. And I think the current business model that we have and the current product that we have coming to market that's the closest thing that we have to creating revenue and starting to actually have a strong business model behind data. And I think that's one of the most important things. Figuring out then it's like then we figure out how we can incentivize community, and also put more incentives and more stability and sustainability behind the whole ecosystem.
100%. Adib, you get it.
Yeah.
I wish more people got it. Like this is the problem. This is the problem with most of the Web3 space, right? The speculative nature of Web3 is not. A lot of it is hot air and wind, not backed by robust business, robust demand. So for the last 6 months, this is all I've been talking about. And I know it's right. And this is what we're going to be focusing on for the next 12 months is growing users, growing revenues. And only then do we start to turn the ship around on Streamr.
Yeah, that's the key. I mean, that's the key. And I think a lot of people miss it here. They just worry about they worry about, their investments, which I get it. I mean, trust me, I've been burned many times, but if that project can start earning revenue, and that project like us, we can start earning revenue and do it at a very rapid pace, that everything will be healed and solved. So it's about getting the community behind us and being extra rocket fuel to bring, help us and help yourselves bring more interest and excitement and revenue to the app we have coming. I think that's the most important thing.
Yeah, and I'm in the same boat, right? I'm a data token holder. I'm miles offside. We're not really allowed to talk about token price and speculation and all of these things, but we're kind of at a point where I'm going to say some of these things anyway. The data token price is more of a reflection of the Web3 markets than anything else. Everybody is bleeding. And the reason all the token prices are so low is because 80% of businesses don't have a robust model. That's what we're fixing here. And I think the thing is that when we get the model in place, when we get growth in a legitimate manner on the demand side on Streamr app, then from a project perspective or a project reputation perspective, I think Streamr comes to be seen as one of those deep ins which makes sense, like GeoDNet does, or Helium does. Right? This is what we're building here. We're trying to turn us around. Helium have been on this journey. They did it, obviously on a much, much larger scale because they're much, much deeper pockets through subsequent tokens and VC backing and all the rest of it. And we can do all of those things in the future. But there was a point in time when they were dead on the floor. And I remember being in X and Twitter and watching their CEO getting hammered day in, day out after their first venture into LoRaWAN protocol and IoT connectivity failed miserably because they built the supply side of the network. They built that case study. And then Deepin was born because everyone looked at Helium and said, okay, that's how you do it. Now let's go and do this. And, they nailed the supply side thing, but they didn't nail the demand side thing. Now they have. And so it's a great turnaround. If Helium can do it, we can do it. We just got to build the right business. So that's the journey we're on,
Yep. Yeah, and hopefully things get repaired. I think there's a lot of macro indicators showcasing good things to come. But if we're building an amazing product piece, without having to worry about the state of the crypto market, it's only going to be it's going to be a double whammy for us, a double win for us. So I think we're definitely on the right track.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay, cool. Sorry, did I go off on a bit of a rant then about Web3?
No, I think it was good. I think it's important to have those type of conversations and speak about that, especially because we do know that it's been a hot topic of discussion.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of at a point where I'm just going to say it as it is and be direct and more so. And I think that's what everyone in the community needs to hear. And I think that adds value. So allow me to be direct. And if I'm too direct, then feel free to wind me back in. But whilst we're on the point of being direct, obviously the bad news is that just in the new year, Binance gave us this tag. And this is definitely a setback. And it's, everyone in the core team and the community are alarmed by it. We didn't know why at first. It came out of nowhere. And then, they've since told us that it's about the book and lack of liquidity. So they have these targets of $40,000 each side on the bid and the ask at kind of plus minus 2% of the spread, and so we were under that for some time, and so they put this tag on, and now we fixed the problem. I wish they told us first, and we could have fixed the problem before they put the tag on, but okay, that's not how Binance operate. And by the way, we have a Telegram group with Binance, but it's limited back and forth, and our Telegram group isn't with the team, the team that decides, to put the tag on. So it's all kind of Chinese walls and at arm's length, and I think that's for regulatory reasons, of course. But we're doing what we've been asked to do, and yeah, it looks, from what we hear and from our understanding, like if you get a tag by Binance, they don't remove them overnight. It's going to be there for a while. The important thing is that we keep building our reputation, turn this around, and keep driving a positive, perception with Binance. So yeah, we're working on that. It is a bit of a setback, but yeah, there's nothing else to say on that I haven't said in the Discord. So okay, should carry on with a few more questions. Yeah, I got a few questions from STV. Sorry, not from STV. From who's it from? It's from Mohammed Al-AJMI. And Mohammed says, would it be possible to ask about business? Can I ask, is it sustainable for small operators to keep their auto staker running for a long time? Because it sucks up a large amount of fuel. Someone creates a sponsorship and operators join in, they'll exhaust it after a couple of hours. This will not have a negative impact on the stream when the sponsorship ends, and thus reduce the quality of the transmission. So, Mohammed, I'm sorry to say I'm going to sit on the fence with this one. I'm not very involved with the operator node side of things. The person that is Henry. If you don't know Henry, he's former founder of Streamr. He's chairman of the council. He's still involved. And he was involved in the building of the Autostaker solution. By the way, the Autostaker solution was a first step in the direction of we generate fiat revenues through Streamr app and pay operator nodes to support those video conferences directly. It was the first step in that direction. I see in the community there's quite a few questions and challenges around it. It's not working as it's expected to. So yeah, I flagged it to Henry. I think Henry's going to jump into Discord and respond later this week. He's pretty busy at the moment. So yeah, Mohammed, thanks for the questions. We will definitely come back to you on that point in the Discord, which I assume you're in. You probably are, because it sounds like you're a node operator. Okay, and then Mohammed asked, would you brief us on the financial position and potential impacts on the roadmap? Yeah, good question. So we pitched for SIP24 for the emissions of another 100 million tokens in December, just before Christmas, or over the Christmas period. And there's quite a lot of pushback in the community because of the token price. And there's a rhetoric in the community that the 100 million tokens are driving the price down, because it's arguably it's inflationary. Just to explain this, since the project was born way before my time on Streamr, the smart contract was 2 billion tokens in total, and then 1 billion tokens were created at ICO time, and then as of the last 18 months or 24 months, there's been a series of SIPs, maybe in the last 36 months, and those SIPs pitch for emissions of 100 million tokens to fund the project, to fund the team. And the reason it was designed like that was so that Streamr could keep going and going for a long time with these tokens funding the project. And that's why we're still here after 7 years. So many projects have come and been since, because they ran out of money and they didn't think ahead. So it's kind of a good model in that regard. But I'm sympathetic with the community's view that minting of 100 million tokens is driving the price down. Okay, so we said in SIP24, okay, we hear you. We're going to build a plan in 2026 with Streamr app that drives real revenues and moves us, and those real revenues pay for the costs of Streamr app, technology costs, salary costs, etc., marketing costs. And then we can move away from project emissions towards the end of 2026. And we committed in SIP24 that mid-year, myself and Henry are going to present what that plan looks like. It doesn't mean that we're going to be able to move away from emissions by mid-year. It's too soon. We're not going to get there. It's just unrealistic. But by the end of 2026, I think we can get there. That's the rough plan at the moment. And the implication for us for Streamr app is that if we're not breaking even by then, and many technology startups don't, then the implication is we have to go and get alternative funding to fund Streamr app, which might be VC investment or otherwise. Now, Mohammed's question, so that was the background to this conversation for those that aren't up to speed on it. Mohammed's question was, would you brief us on the financial position and potential impacts on the roadmap? So at our previous run rate that Streamr had been running at, the new SIP24, 100 million tokens, our burn rate was too high. And so we would have run out of that funding after 2 months. So I've only been in the CEO role for just under 3 months, coming up to 3 months now. One of the first things I said was, look, we'll restructure the team. We'll cut the burn rate right down to reflect where we are, i.e., we're turning the ship around. We need to be lean as hell. That's taken a bit of time because it was a big team and we're still building a lot of things. So Petri and I had to work out where the priorities are, who we can keep, who we can let go, and that's happening now. So as of February, we're moving to full founder mode, and that means myself and Petri as founders, and then potentially we're going to have 2 other people supporting us. One on Petri's side, we need a full stack dev, and I've got a right-hand man that I work with to grow startups, and we brought him in already. And so we're going to move to a 4-man team with a bit of help from you, Adiv. So let's call it 4.25, something like that. And Henry's going to help us out now and again when we need, because there's things that Henry has experience in, and in the history of Streamr, for example, this discussion that Mohammed asked earlier about auto-stake and operator nodes, that's really Henry's wheelhouse. So Henry's there as a resource as and when we need him. But essentially, we're looking at a 4-man team now, and this SIP24 gives us, I would say, between 6 and 8 months of runway in order to get Streamr app to a point where we have a certain number of users, we're driving some revenues, we understand what the cost of acquisition is, we understand what it is that our users like about our product and what they don't like about our product. And community members made this point as well. I think actually it was Bon Jovi that made this point. It was, look, come mid-year, we need clarity in terms of what this D2C business, because it is a direct-to-consumer business, what this D2C business looks like in terms of the hard facts. And I totally agree. Like, that's what I've been pushing for, and that's what Petri's been pushing for, is to get us to this stage. Because previously in Streamr's history, it's all been speculative. We have this amazing technology. It's deep tech. It can do this. It can do that. But we didn't have any hard facts. Now we can build. We're getting to a place where we have the underlying hard facts of the business model, which is a massive step forwards, in my opinion, because it means mid-year, then I can go and pitch for capital from VCs and from other places. We can move away from this kind of emissions-based minting of tokens. That's the plan, anyway. So I hope that all makes sense to Mohammed and to everyone else listening to this, and I hope that it addresses a lot of the concerns and discussions that have been happening in the last 2 months in the community. Just to reiterate, we read every comment in the community. I'm trying to be more active in there. We can't respond to every comment in there, but we are taking the big discussion points out, and we're working on plans to solve them. So I hope the community see that. The most important thing now in the next 6 months is we get traction and growth. Like, it's absolutely crucial. So within this burn rate, where we've got to this super stripped back lean team, we're carving out a marketing budget every month. It's not a big marketing budget, but we need marketing budget to pay for the referrals, to pay for paid ads and acquisition, to pay for other marketing costs. It's kind of key. We can't grow without it. So that's part of, the team reduction as well, is to spend less money on salaries and more on marketing growth, which is, it's been quite a hard decision. It's been a bit tricky to make that switch because Streamr's been entrenched in the way of doing things for the last 6 or 7 years. But this is the new mode of Streamr, and this is the change that Petri and I are driving. So I hope that answers your question.
That was really comprehensive, really deep.
Cool. Right. Any more questions? I can't see any unless I'm missing.
No, it looks like you went through all of them.
Okay, cool.
Any other remarks? I mean, we've been going for about an hour now, so but it's a great show.
Yeah, I think we covered it a lot in the last hour. I mean, I think we should wrap up. I think an hour is long enough. But just to reiterate, 2025 has been a tough year for Streamr Project. It's been a tough year for everyone in Web3. We're all feeling the pain. I know it's hard, but I think we need to try and stay positive and constructive in the community. I know there's a lot of pissed off people. The core team feel the same way. But we can turn this around if we do the right things and we do it quickly and we execute. So that's the focus. Let's take 6 months at a time, and and keep going in the right direction. And finally, thanks to everyone in the community, because there's a lot of constructive builds in there, a lot of the right questions which forced me to think and come back. And there's been a lot of suggestions that add value. So yeah, keep them coming. It's appreciated.
Awesome.
All right, Petri, anything from your side?
No, I think we covered everything pretty comprehensively.
Cool.
So maybe there's one thing to mention. Maybe this question about this this sponsorships. Maybe it was actually about this Streamr TV integration, because we are obviously using AutoStaker there. So before Christmas we released this version of Streamr TV, and it's actually online that you can test now, where you can actually press a button and see those operator nodes joining your stream. And was it Mohammed who was worried about this operators joining and leaving after 2 hours? So maybe this question had to do with this actual implementation that we have now for development purposes. So the idea is that this, once we have this Streamr beta running and this actual subscription money coming in, and we will be funding the sponsorships with that money, it will work differently. Now we have these limits because we are using basically our marketing budget for paying these sponsorships. So there are these limits for the sponsorships in this setup. So yes, it will of course, when operator nodes leave, it will have a negative impact on the performance, but this will certainly not be the case in Streamr beta, where the sponsorships are funded with real fiat money.
Cool. Thanks for the update, Petri. Yeah, Mohammed, if you're listening still, and anyone else's operator node side, we're going to come back into the Discord later this week in more detail. Sorry for the delay, but yeah, we're looking at it. Okay. Thanks, Petri. All good. I think we can wrap up.
Cool.
Okay, thank you.
Have a great.
Bye-bye.
Cheers. Bye.